Good morning, Ram fam, and welcome to this week's edition of the Saturday Spark, where I hopefully can give you a little training inspiration for your Saturday morning meeting. I just want to say we had the best week in Las Vegas last week. I took the whole Ram team. We were at Driving Sales, Digital Dealer. We visited a bunch of our client partners in Nevada. We got to see a bunch of you at those two conferences. It was awesome. Thank you, everyone, for a great week. All right, let's start this up. I expect that every single one of you had at least started to put in place the appraisal of every car process we discussed last week and have already started to reap the rewards. Now, let's add another layer. If you remember at the beginning of the month, I gave everyone a refresher on the PAC. Preview Advantage Confirmation. This is key to controlling the conversation over the phone. But guess what? We can use this exact same technique for control and in the service drive, and it must be used on all our customers in the waiting room. We identified these people the day before as must-haves, so let's talk about how we can use this technique with them. Your team does their homework the day before. This morning, we're going to do it right after the meeting, okay? We're going to go into service. We're going to run through all the appointments for the day, review what cars are coming in, run payoffs, equity checks, everything we need to do to decide which cars you want on your lot. After that, make sure to give that list of customers to the service advisors. They're going to be the one pointing out the customers to you. The plan's in place. Now, let's execute. Once we identified Mr. Levin over there in the waiting room, we're going to wait for him to get settled in, grab that cup of coffee. Then we're going to stroll over, begin a casual conversation. We're going to bring up the car that they're having service and ask them if they like it and what they like about it. Then I'm going to casually mention, Mr. Levin, can I run an opportunity by you and see if this might be of interest to you? There are no more valuable vehicles to us in our inventory than our own products serviced by us, especially this time of year when our dealership does a lot of business in what we call transition vehicles. Let me explain what I mean by transition vehicles. We have a lot of people that come in, but because of individual circumstances, may not be able to afford something new and tend to look at a vehicle like you have, a couple years older with a few extra miles that they can get into more affordably. We call these cars transition vehicles. With your permission, I'll have our appraiser take a look at it while it's being serviced, and it won't take any longer, but it will give you a really good idea of what your car's value is. Would that be okay with you? Do you see how the PAC took control of the conversation and drove us towards a goal? The goal is an appraisal. Remember, you did your homework. You know how good it's going to look to the customer. You know all the answers before you ask the question. Once the appraisal happens, you do what you do best. You enter them into the regular sales process and reel them in. This is why the appraisal is the goal of every sales transaction in the drive. With the right planning and word tracks, there's absolutely no reason why 1,500 ROs a month turn into 50 cars on your lot. Share this with your team this morning. Go get that inventory. It's a 5-weekend month. We got 3 weekends to go. I look forward to seeing you next week.